What up, world? You are in tune to the world famous Know It All podcast. Of course, with your usual suspects, Tater Tate Boy Fresh and Big G at the Know It All podcast. Tate, what is going on, man? How you doing this week?
What's up, man? I'm doing good, man. What about you?
Man, I am excellent. I am excellent. Great week of football. I am blessed to be wrong on some stuff, but guess what, man? We gonna get into that. I got some dues to collect from a couple of people. Big G, how you doing, man?
I'm doing all right, man. Outside of what's going on in garbage, well, I don't even want to get started, man. Listen, I'm just gonna say this before I even get started, man. Mitch Trubisky is trash. So let's go. Outside, I can get everything
Hey,
else in. But
hey, man.
he's
Hey,
horrible.
what's going on with the Raiders Cardinals?
It sounds like the Raiders had just recovered a fumble. Getting ready to kick a field goal here in just a second. That's what it sounds like. Hey, listen, before we get to it, man, we like to just thank you guys for watching with us, man. Make sure that you like and subscribe. Like us on Facebook, subscribe on YouTube and Twitch, and also on Twitter. So when we go live, you'll definitely know that we're here. Getting ready to go and get this thing done. But listen, man, before we get started with this, let's start with this. Before we get started, there was a scoop and a score. Arizona Cardinals win the game last second.
What?
Scooping the score.
Wow.
Definitely hit him. And scooping the score, that was a comeback, man. He took it back to the crib. Raiders were about to score, and, man, that was it. Listen, Linda, listen. Listen, I'm so happy to be wrong about a game. The reason why is because there's some things I got to collect. B Dirt, I know you out there. I know
He
you
out
out
there.
there.
Hey,
And
he
listen,
hey he was just talking the other day. He had to send you a hat.
yeah, he was. And guess what, B Dirt? You lost that bet there, sir. And there's some things that I'm going to need to collect on that. I definitely need to collect on that bet. G, you lost again. You got another added corner time. You still got some corner time left, which is cool. I mean, we'll take it. I mean, you're actually kicking our butts on the pick'em, but you lost there, man. But we're gonna go ahead and get into some sports talk, man, and let's definitely talk about it. First game that we want to talk about, Pittsburgh today, man. What happened? What happened? I'm gonna go ahead because I already know what G's gonna say. I'm gonna start with Tate, man. Talk to me. What happened in Pittsburgh today?
Well, man, just to piggyback off what I know G gonna say, man. I'm not gonna say Mitch was trash. Mitch didn't play good, but he played the same as Mac Jones. Mac Jones just hit a couple little longer passes. But Pittsburgh lost that game, man, in the turnover battle. They won last week because of the turnover battle. They lost this week because of turnover battle. Gunnar Olszewski, former Patriot, was on the Patriots the past 2 years before this year. He fumbled, muffed the punt, and that was the difference in the game. That gave the Patriots their touchdown. I mean, they had one before the half where Akello Witherspoon. I mean, he was on the receiver. He was on I forgot who it was, but he could have just played the ball at a higher point. I mean, it went through his hands and the guy jumped over him and caught it. If he had went up higher and played hard, they wouldn't have got that. So it was just a defensive struggle. I mean, 17-14, the under was 40. Definitely was the under. Pittsburgh offense is definitely not clicking. You can see that their defense was really missing the pressure that could apply by TJ Watt, and not just applied by TJ Watt, but the double teams he commands frees other guys up. I don't think we had one sack today. We had 7 last week. So, I mean, everybody either won or lost. The division's tied 1-1. So we got the Browns Thursday. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, man, it was a tough game, tough sledding. Big G, man, you gonna have the floor, man. Talk to us, man. What happened?
Man, first of all, I'm gonna go back to a point and a comment that Tate makes all the time on the show. Tate says that football is played in 3 phases, which I totally 150% agree. However, when one phase dictates what the other 2 phases do, you're going to lose every time. And right now, the Pittsburgh Steelers offensive coordinating, play calling, and quarterback play is the worst that I've seen it since before Ben Roethlisberger. This is the worst that I've seen the Steelers offensive play. I can't understand why they don't run go routes, why they don't run down the middle seam routes, why they don't run wheel routes, why they don't run cross routes. They put the load on Najee Harris. It's obvious. I could tell every play of the game when they was running it. I could tell even before they snapped it. So it's horrible play calling by the OC, but it's worse
Big
play
G.
by Mitch Trubisky, the quarterback.
Big G, can I ask you a
What's
question?
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with the play calling. I think it's the execution. And they did run a wheel route to Najee Harrison. Mitch underthrew it. That's when Judon broke it up. I mean, Najee was wide open, really, if he makes a better throw. And it was a couple other deep balls. I mean, Freiermuth got some passes. I'm not going to complain about the play calling. I'll give you the quarterback play. I'll give you that. And the execution because of the offensive line, especially in the run game.
Well, I'm going to say this. Last week, Mitch, you was at trash. You have moved quickly past hot trash and moved to dumpster fire, Mitch.
Wow.
You are dumpster fire, and we need to bench you. If we lose to the Browns on Thursday, bench Mitch. I can't breathe with Mitch Trubisky playing quarterback, bro. He's trash. Get him out of here, and let's move on to the next guy.
Can I ask you one more question? Can I ask you one more question?
Go ahead.
When we had the ball at 17-14 and they stopped us, and I think it was gonna be 4th and 2. I felt like we should have went for it then, because the worst thing that could have happened if we hold them, they kick a field goal and we still down a touchdown. But we gave them the ball back and they killed the whole clock.
Check this out, Tate. A stat that'll mess you up. The Steelers' time of possession in the 4th quarter was 2 minutes and 18 seconds. How in the world can you win a game when you only had the ball for 2 minutes and 18 seconds? That means you 3 and out 3 or 4 times in a row. That means that the quarterback is not executing the play that's being called, and the OC is vanilla with his play calling. He's trash. He's dumpster fire. If he drops to the Brownies on Thursday, get him out of there, and let's go with the Rook, man. I've been calling it already. I keep telling y'all he ain't that good. There's a reason why the Chicago Bears gave up on him.
Okay, so all right. Because I know that G can go on for another 20 minutes about how much trash Mitchell is. Man, the first game we had on schedule was the Chargers and the Chiefs on Thursday night. That was a really, really good game, man. I mean, Justin Herbert probably gave us the most gallant effort I've seen by a quarterback in a long time. Brother was hurting, and he came out there and still played. But hey, man, Patty Mahomes is still Patty Mahomes. Tate, tell me about this game, man. How'd you feel watching this game?
I mean, it was a good game. I felt like the Chargers controlled the first half of the game. They actually should have been up more than they were up, 10-7 going into halftime. So you let Patrick Mahomes hang around. You come out the second half. The Chargers line had 2 starters hurt, and you could see that happened. And then Matt Filer, the left guard, was a former Steeler. G, he's dumpster fire. He was getting beat all around, and Herbert was getting pressured and hurt because of it. So I mean, you let Patrick Mahomes hang around, you let him break the pocket and step up, he's going to beat you. He did that a couple of times. And that pick six, that 100-yard pick six that Kansas City got, the tight end, what's his name? Higbee? Which tight end was it?
Everett.
Yeah, Higbee plays the Rams. Ever, he got him down there to play before inside the 10-yard line. He was tapping his head trying to tap out, and they wanted to run pace. And Herbert threw it to him. He didn't run his cut. He run his route hard, and you can see a lazy route led to that interception going the other way. And that was the difference in the game.
6th-round pick rookie, man, it definitely did that. Miami today, brother, man, what do you say about Tua, man? I mean, 6 touchdowns? Bro, I mean, 6?
Tua is, well, let me just explain this. This is no shot against Patty Mahomes, but you are seeing the impact of what Tyreek Hill does to an offense. Tyreek Hill and Chase Edmonds do some strange stuff. They have a 4x1 track team. When you got Tua that can Waddle, who was their second leading receiver, had almost 200 yards and 2 touchdowns. So, but Tyreek Hill had over 200 yards receiving, and he's going go routes, cross routes, underneath routes, screen routes, wiggle routes, seam routes, you name it. He's running those plays, i.e. what the Steelers is running. Tua is playing football right now, man. And the coach, who I love, their young coach, he's electric, he's dynamic, he's a great play caller. Now, Lamar Jackson didn't lay no egg for y'all out there who don't follow Lamar.
He didn't.
Lamar Jackson ran over 100-something yards and had 200-something yards passing. So it wasn't like he laid an egg. It's just that the Miami Dolphins offense right now is explosive. They took a step forward and definitely are in that upper echelon of teams in the AFC.
Yeah, definitely. I can concur. So the next game, man, listen, Jets, Jets. Wow, the Jets come back today, man. They're the comeback kids, man, and definitely Cleveland had a ball game. Chubb laid an egg, but Amari Cooper had a good game. But man, the Jets were too much, man. Talk to me about that, Tate.
Chubb laid the egg. Chubb had 3 touchdowns.
Sure did. Went almost 100.
That ain't laying no egg.
He was balling.
You must have meant Bradley Chubb for the Denver Broncos or something. But nah, man. I mean, that was in the same 1 o'clock slot as the Steelers, so I really want to watch it. I was flipping through all the games when the commercial come on, but it looked like the Browns just let them boys come back, man, and Garrett Wilson made them pay. Joe Flacco then thrown for 300 plus 2 weeks in a row and multiple touchdowns.
Garrett had a heck of a game. Shout out to former Lake Travis player from Austin, Texas, Garrett Wilson. Did his thug.
Shout out to Garrett Wilson from Columbus, Ohio, and The Ohio State University. From Columbus, Ohio, before he moved to Texas, and now Miles was playing his
name. He made his name.
And when he scored his first touchdown, he had OHIO. And when he did his second touchdown, he hit him with the giddy.
Matters not.
The pedigree is from the state of Ohio.
Listen, it ain't where you're from, it's where you at. He was in Texas. That's what it is.
OHIO.
Next game, we're gonna move on, man. I call this one Washington, Detroit. G, talk to me about that Washington, Detroit game, man. What'd you see there?
Hey, so Hutchinson, the defensive end, had 3 sacks as a rookie today. So, I mean, first of all, when was the last time outside, like Micah Parsons, light type, that you're getting 3 sacks as a rook? So that's first of all. But the killer part about the whole game is Detroit let Washington back in the game. Washington could have actually won the game if it wasn't for a couple of bad throws by Carson Wentz and a sack late by Hutchinson, which made the game separate.
Carson Wentz is good for giving the other team a gift.
But
He's definitely gonna do that.
let's give him credit though. His numbers thus far are good. He 2 games in, he probably didn't pass for 600 yards and like 4 or 5 touchdowns.
Absolutely.
I think the Commanders just got going late, man. I mean, it was like they was shut out until like the second half, right?
Right. Yeah, it was 22-0 at halftime. It was 22.
So take now that you're kind of you kind of stepped in. This was a game I wanted you to talk to me about. Jacksonville, the Colts. What is wrong with the Colts, bro?
Man, I should have picked Jacksonville. I broke down all the numbers about how the Colts and lost 7 straight times in Jacksonville, and I went against it just because I feel like the Colts is. I mean, people had the Colts being a playoff team, and thus far they've tied the Houston Texans and lost to the Jacksonville Jaguars. If I remember correctly, them were the 2 worst teams in the league last year.
No, they were. Your memory serves you correct. Just real quick, man, talk to me about TB12 down there in New Orleans. Now, you had said that he previously hadn't beaten New Orleans as a member of Tampa Bay, but he did today, man. Talk to me about TB12.
TB12 played actually a really good game. It was a hard-fought defensive game. But I think everything switched when the fight went down between Marshawn Lattimore and Mike Evans. That fight, if you guys didn't see that or didn't go back and catch the tape on the fight between Marshawn Lattimore, it was Charles Woodson, David Boston like. Them boys was out there scrapping, and they both got ejected for the fight.
Hey, man, so, Mike. I mean, Brady had beat them once in the playoffs. He had lost 4 regular season games against them.
Correct.
But what's his name? Mike Evans, right? Mike Evans just don't like Marshawn Lattimore because Marshawn Lattimore shuts him down every time they play.
Right.
And so I think it was something behind his frustration that led to that fight.
Right. Once that fight happened, TB12 got fired up because they were both laying eggs. The game was like 6-3, 3-3, something like that. And all of a sudden, Tom Brady got pissed off. And when Brady got pissed off, he started executing for real. But shout out to the Tampa Bay defense because they put it on Jameis Winston today. They was tearing him up. They was tearing Jameis Winston up.
Jameis was hurt, too. His back was hurting the whole game.
Yeah.
We'll take that. I mean, again, you can't really just rile TB12 up and think that it's not going to happen. Man, this last game, bro, Arizona and the Las Vegas, Vegas had the team. Las Vegas Raiders. Wow, what a finish, bro. Talk to me about that, Tate.
Man, I was watching that game before we just came on. It had just went to overtime, and the Raiders stopped the Cardinals on a 4th and 1. Marquise Brown was wide open, and he should have caught it. He got hit and he dropped it. I think that's because he's a little receiver. A big body receiver would have held on to that.
Got mobbed, yeah.
Yeah, he did. It was a good hit, but I mean, so the Raiders controlled the whole first half. They had 20 points at halftime and finished with 23. So the Cardinals just turned it around. Kyler Murray had a terrible first half. The second half, you get him outside the pocket, you get him on some RPOs, and they even run some option with him. I mean, he just took over the game himself. So I mean, I like to see the Raiders lose. So I picked that one, I think. But I told you, got to deal with a guy that always talking, man. So if my team lost today, his team would have won. I wouldn't have heard the end of it tomorrow. Now I don't got to hear it at all. Hopefully.
Yeah, that's a good thing. And then the game that we just was before that, and I was happy to be wrong about the Cowboys versus the Bengals. I'm gonna tell you something. First and foremost, don't talk to me when I tell you something about a former Cowboy player. Lyle Collins is trash. I kind of told y'all that Lyle Collins is trash. I mean, he is listen, if you go outside to your local dumpster and you go and you collect some of the juice from the bottom, that's Lyle Collins. He is trash. For real.
That stanky juice at the bottom of the dumpster?
The stanky juice at the bottom of the dumpster. That's Lyle Collins. I'm telling you, man, it's really that bad. They have given up 14 sacks in the last 2 games.
Yes.
Joe Burrow is getting mobbed on at this point. And I'm scared for him. You can't make it through. This is a Roethlisberger type year where you get sacked, and at some point you're gonna get hurt. You keep getting hit like that, somebody's gonna hurt you, man. I mean, and I mean, literally,
right now he's on pace to be sacked 119 times.
that's too much, man. That's too much for your franchise quarterback. And I'm going to tell you, that's the first thing I saw. The Bengals offense is really good. If they get in a rhythm and you give Joe Burrow time, he can hurt you. He can really hurt you, man. He'll put it on a dime. He throws darts to his receivers. Good quarterback. And Joe Mixon is a really good running back, man. But I mean, those sacks were hard to and the fact that they were really, roughing him up, it was hard to get away from. And I told you that Cowboys defense, they're really good. That Cowboys defense is really good. I told you about Dorrance Armstrong. Dorrance Armstrong had 2 of those sacks today. You know what I'm saying? Definitely.
Well, Dorrance Armstrong had 2 sacks today because they triple teamed Micah Parsons after he got off with the first 2. They were scared to death of Micah Parsons, man. They was petrified of him. They were triple teaming him, chipping him, hitting him with a running back coming across to the point where the Cowboys had to line him up in different spots. They would put him in the middle, put him on the opposite side, trying to get to him. But in the first quarter, he scared the life out of Joe Burrow and the Cincinnati Bengals offense. Micah Parsons is really that dude. He's really that dude, man.
Really that dude. Thomas said they faced the 2 best pass rushers in the league 2 weeks in a row. That is rough. That's rough sledding for the Bengals.
And that's what happened. I mean, just like last week, Pittsburgh's defense showed up against that offensive line. I mean, the Bengals called themselves, reshaping and restocking the offensive line, but I don't think because the fact that they didn't play together in the preseason, they haven't built a rapport and cohesion with each other. But Dallas used the same formula. They came out with that defense. And that defense came to play all day. They gave up 17 points to that Bengals team and ended with a last-second Brett Maher field goal.
Yeah, 1 touchdown in the 2-point, right? I mean, that's a stand-up. That's a stand-up. When you give up a touchdown in the 2-point, that's definitely.
But it played out the same way because Pittsburgh controlled the game early. The Bengals came back and lost in overtime on the last-second field goal. But this didn't go to overtime, right?
This wasn't overtime. It was
they drove down and got the field goal right before. At the buzzer. At the buzzer.
Yeah.
Hey, so let me hit you with a stat. Out of the 400 teams that started 0-2, only 38 teams have ever made the playoffs. That's a 9.5% chance of making it. What is the Cincinnati Bengals record right now?
0-2.
They ain't gonna make the playoffs, y'all.
0-2, man. I hate when people use a letter for a number. O is a letter. 0 is a number.
Zero.
And it's called bench, not bench.
It's bench. But here's what I'm gonna tell you. Tate. That 0 hurts to say. You know what I'm saying? 0 and 2. That hurts. It hurts to hear that. Normally. I gotta bring this to the point. Where's B-Dirt? Where's B-Dirt? I mean,
he's in hiding. He's in hiding.
He around in our text threads and all that other stuff. So I don't know where he at in the live chat today.
Man, I mean, B-Dirt,
he lost to the Steelers and to the Cowboys back to back. Do you really think he's gonna show his face right now?
I don't understand.
He's 0-2 against us, man. Come on, man, get out of here.
Normally you would be in the chat. Where you at, B-Dirt? I mean, I need to see you in the chat. You lost a bet, B-Dirt. You definitely lost a bet. G lost with some corner time. But you know what? I'm gonna be honest with you. This week was in the NFL was really crazy. Let's talk about college football briefly before we get ready to get over to this night football game between the Packers and the Bears. I'm gonna say this. Georgia looks like the number 1 team in the nation, man. I'm gonna tell you, Georgia's about that life. They are literally about that life, man. Let me ask you this, G. Before I ask Tate about Georgia, who did you see this week in college football that had you like, woo, this boy here, they ready?
Nobody. It's parity. South Carolina is overrated. Georgia's not that good.
Man, how did Spencer Rattler go from being the #1 quarterback 2 years ago to he might not even get drafted now?
Bro, it's
well,
bad.
I'm gonna tell you. You know
It's
what? You know
bad.
what the answer is? Lincoln Riley. That's the answer to your question. Is Lincoln Riley.
Yeah,
But there's nobody. There's nobody to me in college football right now that looks like an overwhelming, dominant team. There's nobody out there right now. There's a bunch of teams that are really good. I got my top 5 or 6. I got my top 5 or 6, and those top 5 or 6 are going to battle their way through some hard schedules, including USC, including Ohio State, including Michigan, including Georgia, and including Alabama. Nobody has a cupcake walk. And so the teams that are like saying, oh, their teams are really good, you better strap it up. You better strap it up and take a B12 shot, because I'm trying to tell you, you got some games coming where you're going to have to play football, bro. There's some teams out there on some of these
teams. They need to take a B12 shot
and get 10 hours of sleep before the game every time they play, because they're going to have some games where they're going to have to strap it up. You know, I talk that mess about my beloved Buckeyes. I love Ohio State, but I'm telling you right now, Maryland can play, Penn State can play, Minnesota can play, and Michigan can play. And we probably going to play all 4 of them. So they better strap up, put a B12 shot in, get a good night, 10 hours sleep, make sure everybody's healthy, because them boys can play, man. So there ain't nobody to me that's overwhelming. Nobody out there that's overwhelming.
So Tate, talk to me, man. Who in college football has impressed you, and who have you seen that's like, okay, these boys is ready?
I don't disagree with Big G. I mean, Parody has everything, a lot tighter. BYU lost yesterday to Oregon, who got smashed by Georgia, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, we see Toledo. I mean, actually played pretty well against Ohio State. I mean, that quarterback, that Finn, is nice.
Yeah.
I said Toledo gonna win the match. Toledo look good. They got pieces, man.
Yeah.
But I want to harken back and press rewind on Big G from 2021 saying CJ Stroud is trash.
No,
he's made amends for it. He said he was wrong, but I want to say last night he had the same amount of touchdowns as he did incompletions. He only played 3 quarters.
Yeah,
he had 5 touchdowns and 5 incompletions on the whole night.
The only thing that worries me about CJ Stroud, and I'm being totally honest, is when the pressure's on the line and they run shells where you don't have a guy that's going to be open, because you're going to play some teams where guys ain't going to be open, where he tuck it and run. Yesterday, he actually ran an RPO for the first time I've ever seen him run one, and he got like 8 or 9 yards, and he actually broke down and scrambled and picked up 6. So I'm seeing it, starting to see him maturate and start to run. But Stroud, you run a 4.5, bro. When the coverage breaks down, go. But he believes so hard in his arm that, that might come back to haunt us. I hope it doesn't, where he doesn't force balls in there, but the kid's got a cannon. He's probably the most accurate passer in Ohio State history. In Ohio State history.
Not probably he is. Hey, G, you know Andre, and my cousin in our fantasy football. You know he grew up in Oklahoma, right?
Correct.
He said something about Boomer, and I told him, man, I said them boys probably gonna lose the Red River rivalry, man. They gonna lose it.
Pop them boys.
They gonna lose
it. Texas gonna pop them boys.
Yeah. I'm gonna tell you. Bajan looked like the best in the nation, man. Definitely on Saturday. I'm gonna tell you, UTSA. The way that y'all feel about Toledo, UTSA is the same type of team, man. There's a lot. I agree with G when he said there's a lot of parity in college football, because there are kids that are moving from D1 programs, the major D1 programs to these minor D1 programs, and literally still studying up, man. So it's like you're gonna have to come. You're gonna have to strap up. You're gonna have to take a B12 shot. You better get some rest the night before. Gee, that's good, man. I'm telling you, I'm gonna definitely use that. But look, man. Parting shots, because we have this night game that's coming up. G, hit me with your parting shot.
Parting shots once again goes out to Jackson State University and Deion Sanders. If you guys haven't noticed, I've been sharing a lot of that information on the Facebook page to identify Deion Sanders and the outstanding job that he's doing with the Jackson State. I can't even think of their logo right now, but Jackson State, they get victories.
Tigers.
The Jackson State Tigers. Shout out to Deion and what he's doing for HBCUs and college football. I look for Deion Sanders, if he wants to get an opportunity to get a big-time job at a big-time program. Where at? I don't know. But I think Prime is ready. I just think he's going to stay loyal to HBCUs and try to build a brand. But Deion Sanders is a top echelon coach in college football. And he's been that way for the last couple of years. So shout out to Jackson State because they mauled Grambling. They beat the brakes off of Grambling.
66 to something. It was bad.
Yeah, but it was a close game at halftime. So they just took over in the second half.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. Tate, your parting shot?
Man, I just want to talk about real quick the Pittsburgh Steelers, and this is one of those times I'm going to agree with Big G, man. It's time, Coach T. It's time to see what Kenny Pickett can do out there, man, because I'm not saying his arm is better or his athleticism is better, but his athleticism is good enough, and he anticipates throws and he takes shots. So that's what I want to see. This is what this offense needs, man. I mean, the offensive line still has to coalesce and get cohesion and get better. Hopefully, over time, that'll start to happen. And we got to win this game against Cleveland on Thursday night. So, like Big G said, if they lose that one, you got the mini bye because you play a Thursday night game. That next game is against the Jets. Let's see Kenny.
Big G jumps in with the dumpster fire. I hate to admit it, man. I think Kenny, it's time for Kenny. I think, it's definitely time for Kenny to come in because at this point, Mitch is done with. I admit this is Mitch's ceiling. This is what you got to look forward to for the rest of the year. It's his ceiling, definitely. But I would like to thank you guys again, man, for just rocking with us, man, and being here with us. Make sure that you catch up with us midweek for the Pick'em show. Looks like Big G is going to win again. I don't know how this is happening. I'll tell you guys, he has a rabbit's foot in his pocket. He's got a leprechaun over there or something. I don't know what's happening. Definitely. Bishop Wilkinson is watching, man. Bishop, I just got to tell you, either you're praying for him or something, man. Something's going on. Big G is winning, and I don't know how this is happening.
Hey, man. B Dirt just texted me and said he got people over to his house. He having a barbecue.
Yeah, kind of like what the one we just had down in Dallas.
Excuses, B Dirt. Excuses.
Kind of like the one we had down there in Dallas. But he also texted me and said, "It's sitting in my hat. Yeah, you lost the bet. You're gonna have to come on the program again with a Cowboys hat and a Cowboys shirt that you're gonna have to buy because we bet both of that. I'll give you that.
Mon, I got one last proposition for you, man. And then if I lose this one, I'm gonna pay up all my.
Just turn around and get in the corner, man. I want to see your big back.
I got a proposition for you, Mon. The New York
Giants
against the Cowboys. I got the Giants. I got the Giants for a victory. I done picked them twice already on the Pick'em show, and they 2-0. The New York Giants and the Cowboys.
We'll get to
this
that.
Week.
We'll get to that when we get to that, and I'm going to tell you right now.
If you lose, what you going to do, Big G? You keep just
double
or nothing.
I'm going to pay it all at once.
You're already 2 in the hole, man. You're already 2 in the hole. We'll check it out. But, man, listen, thank you guys for rocking with us. Make sure that you like and subscribe. Like us on Facebook, subscribe on YouTube and Twitch so that when we go live, you'll definitely be there to catch us, man. As for myself.
Hey, Mon.
Yes, sir.
How your fantasy football go this week? I'm about to lose both my leagues.
I think I just took an L in both leagues, man. Russell Wilson laid an egg.
I had Russell Wilson in one league. I had Trey Lance get hurt. James Conner got hurt.
Yeah.
Russ laid an egg in them other quarterback. Zeke, I got Zeke. I thought Zeke was gonna blow. Zeke ain't never gonna blow up again, man.
Yeah.
I put CeeDee Lamb on the bench because Cooper Kupp. I think CeeDee Lamb had like 11 or 12 points.
But
we get dubs, baby.
I'm gonna tell you,
Dubs over here.
I'm 1-1 in one league, and I'm probably gonna be 0-2 in the other. But hey, that's fine, man. I'm winning in other ways. I'm definitely winning in other ways. As for myself, as for G, and as for Tate, man, thank y'all for rocking with us. We out of here. Peace.